tell you what the next session is all about. We are having Masters of Market Infrastructure, charting India's global financial connectivity. As India accelerates its emergence as global financial powerhouse, this session brings together the visionary leaders of its premier exchanges and depositories. These are the institutions enabling seamless trading, clearing and settlement to chart the future of capital market access in an increasing interconnected world.
Friends, while we wait for the stage to be set up for the next session, I request Uttam to please share what's happening at ISF so that all the members and all the MIs present over here are updated of the good work which is being done at the ISF. Uttam, please.
Okay, the next session is at 5, so I'm the filler. All right, so that's an interesting filler. Filler may be... for those who are not aware, I'll give a background. SEBI started a concept of Industry Standards Forum. So Industry Standards Forum ka main idea was, SEBI will tell what to do and we will help them decide how to do. And this started after we did a lot of halla gulla on this animal called upstreaming. You all remember? जो रातों की नींद उड़ गई थी initially, which came in June 2023, I believe. So when we took it up, the regulatory authority said कि दोस्त, अच्छा तुम बताओ कैसे करना है, client का पैसा CC में पहुँचाना है, तुम बताओ कैसे करना है. So that's where it all started, and from that to today, we have had almost 2 years of ISF. ISF has the major associations as the anchor bodies, and the other market participants who are also members. And we meet once every 2 weeks, and we just, I don't know, we've lost count of the number of meetings we have held. And then we have taken on 200 agendas. So you have seen many SEBI circulars, many exchange circulars, many consultation paper based on the feedback received from brokers ISF, based on this. Now, when ISF bana tha, so we were always skeptical. I'm just reflecting on the journey. Ki boss, ye nahi chalne wala. And the first few meetings were like that. Okay, there's MIs on one side and brokers on the other side. And ekdam dagger is drawn कि तुम brokers बदमाश, तुम्हारे वजह से सब गड़बड़ चल रही है. And हम बोले तुम MI बदमाश, आपके वजह से हमारी ज़िंदगी एकदम तकलीफ दे हो गई है. And that is how it went. But after 2-3 meetings, 4 meetings, suddenly we realized कि boss, the other side has a point of view. And from that to today, literally, when agendas come on ISF, there are occasions when MI says, no, this is too strict. I think you should make it a bit lenient, tumse hoga nahi. And we are saying, no, you are being too lenient. Some brokers will do some screw up or gochi, and then you're going to blame the committee, you strengthen this part. It's a complete U-turn. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I'm not joking. Those who know me know that I'm usually serious when I talk about all this. This is the kind of work that's happening. And of all the ISFs, we created IRSF, RARSF, we created a listed company RSF. There are multiple ISFs, by the way. The brokers ISF has just cracked it. And it is a collaborative effort of MIIs, broker associations, and other representatives of the broking industry. And it is no mean task. Okay, anybody is very curious, but kya discuss kar rahe ho, kya nahi kar rahe ho, we can take it forward. But we have had meetings of members at times. We have discussed these are the agendas, these are the consultations. And all the relaxations, or see, relaxation is not the right word. We have to make it optimization of regulations. We cannot say कि boss, मुझे contract note 24 घंटे में नहीं भेजना, अरे मुझे client को contract note ही नहीं भेजना. That's ridiculous, right? That's one compliance. There's some good compliance that should be there. So those remain. Those are tightened. For example, this simple example. For example, the daily margin statement. We all had difficulty sending it by the evening. It's not that we don't want to send, but the files are late. Done. So we said, okay, can we send it? Please give us time till next day morning, before the market opens. It made life simple, especially for the commodity segment. Right? We are not saying we don't want to do it. Make it logical. Even in upstreaming, initially the whole concept was you have to upstream every rupee we receive from the clients. But what if it is a debit money? Why am I upstreaming it? All up down business. We moved it to upstreaming of credit balances. If a client is his credit, I will ensure that the jitna amount of credit is in his account, utna account will be allocated at the CC, segregated in his name. That is easy to do. And incidentally, I'll tell you a joke. You'll enjoy this. So when we're discussing upstreaming, they said, what should be the cutoff time by which the money received should be upstreamed? So we said, whatever the normal working hours in this country, minus 1 hour. So how do you determine normal working hours? Then we asked, what time does SEBI shut officially? So they said 5:30. Said, okay, then 4:30 it is. Then obviously we negotiated and made it 5. And then said, what if SEBI office we keep open till 8 o'clock? You keep office open at 8 o'clock, I'll keep my office open till 7. Promise. So obviously there's lots of humor, lots of banter which goes on. But this is how we have been able to do some seriously good optimization of regulation. There cannot be deregulation, right? We are going to be a regulated business as long as we impact market integrity, as long as we deal with client funds and securities, we will be regulated. But that regulation should be commonsensical. There are certain regulations then we follow. Acha lagta hai, yeah, this is really good. This is actually helping the market. Certain regulations we do, what on earth am I doing and why on earth am I doing this? So that is what we're trying to hit. There is so many, for example, there was uploads of creators. Then we started segregation upload. Then why are we uploading creators continuously? It's the same data. So we stopped that. Running account statistics. Right? We send a summary report, we send a detailed report. Why are we sending summary? We are sending detail with. So all that commonsensical things are building in. And of course, there are certain laws we can't do anything. If Disabilities Act is passed by the Parliament and Supreme Court passes judgment, you can't blame it, you put it on the feet of SEBI. All right? This is a national law. You don't say, oh, compliances have gone up. That's not fair. All right? But apart from that, Brokers ISF is awesome, if I may say so myself. And really, request all my member communities and intermediary communities, if there are any issues that you want to be taken up with Brokers ISF, it can be done by at any of the associations. So that's for a filler. I hope you liked it. Thanks, bye.
Starting now. May I request the heads of MIIs, as I call upon them to come and be seated on the dais, Ms. Vaisshali Babu, MD and CEO, ICCL. Please greet them with a big round of applause. Ms. Praveena Rai, MD and CEO, Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited. She's on her way. Ms. Latika Kundu, MD and CEO, Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India Limited. Shri Nehal Vora, MD and CEO, Central Depository Services India Limited. Mr. Sundararaman Ramamurthy MD and CEO, BSE Ltd. Yes, please. This is going to be an exciting one. May I now call upon Ms. Vaisshali Babu to give her address, but before I do that, I have the very pleasant task of giving a brief introduction about her. Not that any of them need any introduction, but again, it is my honor and privilege to do so. Ms. Vaisshali Babu has assumed office as the MD and CEO with effect from 1st January 2024. Previously, she was the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Risk Officer of the company. Ma'am is a capital market veteran and overall capital market experience of over 30 years spread across BNP Paribas, Bank of America, Stockholding Corporation, and Mumbai Port Trust. She holds a master's degree in commerce from Mumbai University with a business administration qualification from Symbiosis. She has credentials of executive programs from IIM Bangalore, IIM Rohtak, IIM Calcutta, and is a member of Institute of Directors. Complete believer in changing society via children's education, actively involved with a few NGOs. Her motto in life, be simple, be different, is a life mantra which she practices and promotes. Over to you, ma'am. The allotted time to you is up to 10 minutes. You can always exceed. Ghar ki baat hai.
A very good evening. Namaskar. I think before even I could start the speech or whatever the note or addressing or whatever we call, I'm so very happy. The dais has got the majority of the women, and I really feel very proud of it. This is the real Diwali, the real Lakshmi Puja, I must say. So thanks BBF for getting us all together. It's absolutely wonderful to be here with the BBF family and each one of you who have made our markets stronger each and every single day. We all together have toiled the hard path, and we are ready to take the next harder ways ahead. For a second, when I honestly felt like I have walked into an award show, I think when I came in, a lot of awards were given. बस difference इतना है कि यहाँ trophy नहीं, trust मिलता है. उत्तम जी आपसे इंस्पायर होके थोड़ा बहुत बोल लिया मैंने. कहाँ है उत्तम जी? अच्छा यहाँ है. In our capital market world, हर ट्रेड एक सीन है, हर रिस्क एक प्लॉट है जो कभी भी कैसे भी ट्विस्ट लेते रहता है. और हम CCs, rather all MIs, we are that, and especially CCs, I would say, we are invisible heroes. जब भी काम नहीं करते तो पक्का पता चलता है ये CC काम कर रही थी. So जब ये सेटलमेंट प्रॉपरली नहीं हुआ, अरे बाबा कौन कर रहा था? एक्सचेंज CC पकड़ो इनको. लेकिन हम लोग ऐसा काम करते हैं कि ये पिक्चर का एंड है ना, हैप्पी एंड हो, केओटिक नहीं हो, इसके लिए एकदम फोकस्ड रहते हैं. And in that spirit, I thought of what do I take it up as one point to talk today, and that is the timing and precision that makes our exchanges, clearing corporation, depositories, we move with a single heartbeat. We are all, exchanges have got a different agenda, CCs different, depositories different. Within exchanges, there are suppose commodities, currency, other equity derivatives, but we all sing the same tune, a rhythm where India isn't just keeping up with the world, but we are just leading it. We are just being the big orchestra, Zubin Mehta. That is what we are doing it. India is no longer a participator, but we are emerging as a strategic partner. Across the world, when I see the market are getting connected, but what is different happening in India is that we are getting more coordinated. We have gone one step ahead. Beyond being connected, we want to be more coordinated. We want to be on the same page, on the same line, so that we deliver the same results, the expected results. We have so many laurels to our credit, interoperability, T+1, T+0. I think since morning, ये शब्द आपने काफ़ी बार सुने होंगे, but it is important to repeat this once again and again because these are the hard paths that we as a capital market, Indian capital market has walked. UPI block, collateral segregation, direct payouts, SAS, UDIF implementation, common contract note, risk reforms. So we are building a fabric where technology and trust we are weaving together. आज टेक्नोलॉजी का ज़माना है. Without technology, we are not able to see anything. Sorry for those my counterparts who I am little bit doing Hindi and English. So it's an oxygen. Every API, every microsecond counts for us. Because in our world, timing ही important है. See, dialogue सबके पास होता है. Script writer, director, producer, dialogue लाके देता है. But hero कौन है? जिसका timing perfect है, वही hero हो जाता है. And that's what, in our MII world, the MII which understands that microseconds, he becomes an MII, as the word says, and I'm going to pick it up, which I heard from Latika ma'am, that we are a market infrastructure, we are infrastructure creators, and that microseconds, that the timing and the precision really matters to us most. Honestly, none of this journey is solo. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to do this. You have been the co-writer in this script. आप लोग क्वेश्चन पूछते हो और क्वेश्चन पूछते हो, सजेशंस देते हो, चेज करते हो, कभी कभी ज़्यादा चेज करते हो, अच्छा लगता है. So keep on doing that, keep us on our toes. We spoke about ISF forum. What is this ISF? This is what I said a few minutes back, that whole world is getting into more of a connecting. We are connecting and collaborating. I think Uttam was saying a few minutes back that when we brought everybody into one classroom, दोनों को एक कमरे में बंद कर दो, चाबी खोज जाए, अभी एक दूसरे का सर फोड़ो. What did we arrive at that? We understood the other side, empathy. Empathy, and then going to the solutions. At the ISF forums, what we have been doing, it's like a big family get-together. We debate, we argue, we come out with so many options, and then at the end of it, we go out of the room with some kind of a suggestion, solutions, implementable solutions, and that's how more than 200 odd items which ISF has been, chasing. To a great extent, we have been able to do a justice to that in an amicable way. I think after this ISF, especially, and I'll take few seconds to discuss on this. One thing has happened is that none of the things which was implemented, and then we had to change, very few things, except maybe the common contract note, which had a far-reaching impact. We could do those within the expected timelines. Last few years, coming back to the timing precision, we are just not adhering to the timelines, but we are going ahead with a different temperament related to automation, digitization, with every layer of the market. This evolution, seamless, accelerated settlements to near real-time risk monitoring, it's what's truly charting India's global financial connect. Charting this journey. If at all we have to reflect on that, it's not about one big leap. We have taken many steady steps. T1 or T0, why we could do that? We had dematerialization of even unlisted securities and all that. So that piece which we had taken into account. We had taken a lot of efforts into standardization. We as India, as a country, we had taken to a great deal our money transfer. We have made it really very easy, and hence these all steady steps helped us to take a leap of T+1. When the whole, I say it with all pride, that when US, the most developed capital market as we look at it, took to T+1 around in mid-2024, we had started implementing in 22. And by the time US did it, we had already done optional T0. So this is all credits to all of you. This is one idea may come up, we might come with a workflow, but you all embraced it with all that positivity, and hence this became very possible. Our outreach, domestically and internationally, has been really worth praising. We are balancing domestic stability with international visibility. And both these things, believe me, are absolutely difficult. As we look ahead, we have AI, we have DLT, we have blockchain. All these things will drive the market. Let's remember, the spotlight will change. Screens will change, but the foundation we have built together will always hold good, because in our market story, picture अभी बाकी है, and हम सब लोग मिलके उसका end बहुत positive बनाएंगे. Thank you. We say, the last thought which I want to leave it with you, that दिया जलता है तो अंधेरा खत्म होता है. दिया जलता है तो अंधेरा खत्म होता है, हम लोग बोलते हैं. But in our markets too, हर एक नया initiative, हर एक reform एक नया दिया है, जो भारत की financial visibility को और रोशन कर रहा है. So here is to many more bright trades, to many more stronger connects, to many more new brighter ideas, and a market that sparkles just like the Diwali festival itself. Thank you, BBF family, once again, for being the partners in our progress, our critics in committees, and our constant stance in chaos. ICCL की तरफ से, BSE family की तरफ से, सब MII की तरफ से, आप सबको इंडिविजुअली, आपके परिवार को और आपके मित्रजनों को शुभ दीपावली. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू मैम. आपने दीपावली के शुभ अवसर पे रेगुलेशन के दियों की झड़ी लगा दी है और आशा करते हैं कि ये दिए सबके जिंदगी और सबके व्यवसाय में खुशहाली तो लाएं ही, पर उनका बिजनेस सेफ बनाएं और इन्वेस्टर को खुश बनाएं. Up next, we have Ms. Praveena Rai, MD and CEO, Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited, who has over 20 years of diverse experience in financial markets, a former Chief Operating Officer of NPCI, held leadership positions in Citigroup, HSBC, and Kotak Mahindra Bank. Ma'am is the MD and CEO of MCX, India's largest commodity derivative exchange. Her illustrious career spans over 20 years in financial markets. She's an engineer and a management postgraduate from College of Engineering, Gindi, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, and Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. She's been awarded by the Forbes in Self-Made Women List 2024. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskar and good evening to everybody here. It's really wonderful. The timing of this is very sweet because I joined MCX on Diwali Day last year. And here we are celebrating in about a year's time, Diwali celebrations as part of this Confluence. And it's been a wonderful year for me. And the most important part of that wonder is how well that all of you have really invited me into the capital markets family. So thank you very much for that. And with that interaction, what I see is all the members here. I think Anupji and I keep meeting very often, but I meet many of you here and there. The energy, the enterprise, the entrepreneurship, the urge to do more, the urge to innovate, to grow, and with the deep understanding and knowledge, not just of markets, because I think to be successful in markets, you need a broader economic understanding, you need a fundamental understanding, you need a technical understanding. So it is like, and all of you have such a deep technical understanding that I think, as Vaisshali pointed out, the technical conversations we tend to have, go as deep as the conversations I have with my own team. So I think that's really kudos to everybody here, and thank you for making me a part of this. So where do we stand today really? I think we are in a good and happy zone, thanks to everyone here for making that happen. MCX staying very focused in the commodity derivative segment. to grow in the last year, I think last year we grew by about 100% or so, had an ADT of approximately 2 trillion rupees. And in the last few months, and this is all numbers in public domain, we are already looking at about 3.5 lakh trillion rupees. So that's a very significant growth that we are seeing month on month, and when we look at this on a year-on-year basis. And this is driven by many fundamentals as we know it. What is the growth on the energy sector? Of course, bullion is really doing very well, keeping all of us on our toes in the last few days, in fact. Metals continues to do well, although at a smaller base. And of course, we have the agri segment. So we had a very nice metals conclave recently. BBF also was represented, SEBI chairman was there. And the positivity is that we really have to bring more participation into the commodity derivative segment. So driving more awareness. Of course, many of you are there. There are more than 500 members, directly on MCX, and that number is growing every month. But expanding this, not just with direct members and participants, but also to financial institutions, bringing more mutual funds into the multi-asset category, having more foreign participation in many of the contracts, looking at how segments like banks and other segments who are not permitted to be active, right? Slowly in a calibrated manner, starting to open that door for them, so that this as a trading and market platform and also as a risk management tool becomes far more available to everybody in the market. I think these are all things that we believe will sort of play out over time, and working very closely with number of you and number of policymakers and regulators on this. So when we look at our user base, that is one piece, but we are also looking, and I think many of you are also looking at commodity desks and really taking this message into the larger industrial groups to bring in the commercial participants, so that we are able to balance the commercial participation with the financial participation. And that's something that I would urge many of you, to do a lot more. And new products is something that, and for us a new product is a new commodity, right? I mean, unlike the equity markets where there are lots of scripts to invest in and IPOs keep happening, in our space is little different, because that commodity, new commodity, we have to select. It has to have scale, volatility, it has to be of interest to you. And then, creating the book in the early days is certainly, the big challenge. But I think we've identified a few. Some are in market. Electricity, around July 10th, we launched the contract. Early signals of that are looking very good. We've launched cardamom again in the same month, looking at the agri sector. It's the first contract globally on cardamom futures. We've also relaunched nickel, looking at feedback from the market to make it more successful. We've given a fresh thrust on cotton. It's, it was a very, very liquid contract, which, over time has sort of lost its luster. So how do we really bring that back up? So in addition to focusing on the sort of big categories of energy and bullion, looking at some of these which is necessary for the market, necessary for the country, right? And also of interest to all of you. So that's something that is there. I think that pipeline is playing out well. And the second most important thing is technology, right? Because the other side of saying, look, numbers are doing very well, is to say, how do we continue to deliver that technical excellence? So in a mature space where you're growing at 10%, 20%, that's a different kind of problem. But when the numbers are growing significantly with the high degree of spikes happening, then technology offers a different challenge, different interest. So while we have looked at stabilizing our new platform, we are also looking continuously at how do we upgrade certain modules and so on and so forth to meet the requirements that we are seeing today, and also as we look into the future. So looking at operational excellence is really something that is a big pillar that we stand on. And I would say, I'm mentioning it last but not the least, is the whole compliance and regulatory framework. I think Vaisshali spoke about it. I really like what is happening. SEBI is looking at this whole ease of doing business. All the MIs have been working very closely in the ISF group along with all of you to look at how do we eliminate a lot of friction and pain points that are there for our broker members. Because, I've come across so many cases of this double jeopardy, for example, right? The same problem, one exchange will find, second exchange will find, third exchange will find. I mean, it's not logical and it's not fair. So we needed to have some simplification, some standardization, and I think we are seeing all those changes come into place so that the whole inspection process is simplified. We don't have to do the same thing repeatedly, and we rely on each other because ultimately we are highly regulated by the same regulator. So we should trust and rely on each other, and then make this whole process so simple and much easier for you. Because the rules are created due to some one odd man, and to ensure that that one odd person does not spoil the whole market, and we want to retain market integrity, we then have very stringent rules for everybody. So there's no way we can take the rules off, but how do we make them meaningful and simplified? And it's fantastic that with ISF, I think some of those steps have really been able to move forward. So I think in all these directions, when we look at business, look at technology and operations, when we look at compliance, there is good progress. I think we are moving in the right direction. Thanks to everybody here. We are looking forward to a good second half, and we'll stay very engaged. I'm super excited to be here in this Diwali celebration. Look forward to many more of this. Happy Diwali.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of encouragement. And, I'm reminded of one anecdote over here that Bombay used to be the center for cotton trading in ages gone back. So much so, Kalba Devi even had a cotton exchange. And I was told that cotton prices that were quoted in London were decided in Mumbai. So such was the, so India is not new to commodity trading. We once again have to take that place of pride and that leadership in the trading world the world over. So, up next, we have Ms. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's a very interesting point you make, no? So, I was just reading somewhere that while the Bombay Stock Exchange under a tree, was set up in 1857?
1875.
75, yeah. Yeah, under the tree it was there, no? From 50s. So, maybe it was formalized in 70s. But at the same time, the Cotton Futures Exchange also was operating in Bombay, and maybe in the adjacent tree it was there. But totally agree with you. Yeah, thank you.
So next we have Ms. Latika Kundu, Managing Director and CEO, Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India Limited. She's a widely acknowledged leader in financial market who brings over 25 years of experience and expertise in establishing and managing exchanges, clearinghouse, depositories, across diverse asset classes. She believes in creating marketplaces which are highly cohesive, healthy, and competitive. Previously, she was co-founder and chief operating officer of the Singapore Diamond Investment Exchange, the world's first commodity exchange for physically settled diamonds. She has also contributed to the industry through prestigious board and committee memberships, including CMFAS exam board under the Institute of Banking and Finance, Singapore. She has been widely recognized as a thought leader and felicitated by her alma mater, ITM and Narsi Munji College, with distinguished alumnus awards and top 50 entrepreneurs, respectively. Ma'am, the floor is all yours.
You made it ladies first. A very good evening to each and every one, and thank you, BBF. You have always had programs which are uniquely designed, and you have done it again. So that's really a big kudos to each one of you. And the topic is also very interesting, reimagining of markets, where we're talking about innovation, we're talking about policy, we're talking about global reach out. And that caught my attention to, of course, my favorite two parts. And I said, let me speak of the two things that are closest to me. One is collaboration, and the second is competition. And I feel one cannot do without the other. We have, of course, reached a long way, right from having the Asia's oldest exchange with us, to moving from open outcry to electronic markets, and thereon at every point making sure that we only went more technologically savvy. We took care of timing, precision, risk, and I'm sure that many more that we will definitely endeavor to do. On a slightly broader landscape, I think there are some times we need to not just correct what's written on the wall, sometimes we need to create a new wall. And to create the new wall, we need to still think out of the box and say, what is it that we really can do? What is it that we really have as a nation, as MIIs, as a market, as market intermediaries? What is it that we have? What is our responsibility? And how is it that we can take it forward? Because we have used the very significant word reimagining. And when we reimagine, that means we do not look at only what modifications we make. We also look at what new we can bring to the table. And that, I believe, can only happen through collaboration and a healthy competitive landscape. We have a country which is aspirational, from a $4 to $10 trillion journey which has to take place in the next few years. It cannot happen without all of us who are not only in this room but far beyond that will be able to make this convert to a reality. Why do I say this? I say this because you need multiple marketplaces to be able to expand. Why do we need to expand, and why is it that we are so confident that we will expand? Because we are the largest democracy. We are the youngest at 29 today. We're financially far more literate than what we were. Do we need to get some more financial literacy? Of course. Are we English speaking? Yes, we're mobile savvy. But we definitely need far more awareness. So definitely we need to collaborate more as far as the awareness goes to the last mile in the country. Banking sector has done that. Banking sector has done this in a very systematic and a very gracious way to encompass technology as well as make the processes so that we have been able to reach there. Now is the time for capital markets to do that. It of course happens, not all together, and that is why I would say that this is an evolution. In this phase of the evolution, we are the fortunate few that we are part of this at this point of time, when it is going, this next 10 years is what is going to define whether we will be able to, through collaboration and healthy competitive landscape, be able to cross that journey. Why is it so important that we create that whole atmosphere here? Because we need multi-marketplaces. Why do we need multi-marketplaces? Multi-marketplaces, they improve innovation. They allow more products to come into the market. They allow each of us to reach out to someone's need which is not known at the moment. Just as probably Henry Ford was laughed at some point of time, why do you need cars when there are horses? Where are the cars really going to drive? But the fact was the roads had to be built for those cars to be driven on. And they were not there at that point of time. We fear AI, but we know AI is the future. So similarly, we have to reimagine it. That not just innovation, it is also cost, it is also services, it is also a risk of concentration and systemic risk if we do not allow multiple market players to come in and allow you to reach out to the final investors with multi-asset, multi-products, which will help them diversify and de-risk. So it is very important, and it is my urge to the whole community as well as to all MIIs, as well as to everybody beyond this room, as I said, that we should be able to create that ecosystem which works with each other. which, while yes, ISF has definitely, you know, worked on that and showcased that. Uttam mentioned that there was a point of time when, you know, MIs thought about what was needed on their side, and, you know, brokers thought about what was needed on theirs. Now is the time to go and think even far beyond that. It is to create that next landscape, so that we can ensure the final investor, because it is the final investor for whom we are all sitting here and placing the market together. It is the final investor for whom the regulator, the MIIs, the market intermediaries, everybody works together for. That it remains a healthy place to trade on, very safe. People must be aware through different modes of education, but at the same time, it also has to have a multiply effect where you will have the 1.5 billion. Yes, the 1.5 billion will not convert tomorrow morning. It may not convert at any point of time because everybody may not reach there. But we are very, very far away. We do have, yes, a good number. The number grows every day. Every day we have more people participating, but we are still far away from where the developed countries are. We are very far away from a lot of products that are still not reached the market. At MSc, of course, we are very determined that it has to be innovation, it has to be through collaboration, it has to be healthy competition, a lot of awareness to be given in. Few of course, just yesterday, since we hosted our event of WIW, we tried to be as innovative once again this year by having comedy and finance placed together through Nivesh Ka Hasya Manch. Last year we did it through finance and drama with Nivesh Ka Rang Manch. And these are of course targeted to the final audience, which was students, younger generation, which we feel is very important, that the message goes out in a way that they will be attentive to. It cannot be a textbook set of messages. There are webinars that happen, and many a times I even tell my own team, I said, can we make them a little more exciting? We can follow all the rules, but can we make them a little more exciting so that our message is remembered? It stays home with our final investors. So while, you know, I think there's of course a lot that we can speak on each pocket of these areas, and I will not dwell further on it right now. I know we're going to go into a celebration mode, and next week is Diwali. But we definitely must ponder on the larger landscape, come together as a common unit, collaborate and create the healthy, you know, competitive landscape. A very, very happy Diwali to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. After you said Rang Manch and Hasya Manch, I wonder what are you going to think of the next year? So that's going to be a challenge. But now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Nehal Vora, Managing Director and CEO, Central Depository Services India Limited. Nehal Vora is the Managing Director and CEO of CDSL, India's largest depository by number of DMAT holders, and the only listed depository in Asia Pacific region. No longer, so this is kind of dated, yeah. Sorry. With close to 3 decades of experience in significant roles in BSE, DSP, Merrill Lynch, and SEBI, Nehal has driven transformative growth at CDSL since September 2019. Previously, as CRO at BSE, he led initiatives in compliance and investigation, both of which brokers are quite wary of. His career began at SEBI in 1996, where he pioneered derivatives, innovation, and key system implementations like T+2 rolling settlement. His efforts at DSP Merrill Lynch earned him OGC Living the Mission Award in 2008. He's also earned the Distinguished Alumnus Award at HR College of Commerce and Economics, which incidentally is also my college. And he continues to contribute meaningfully to India's capital market through active participation in various SEBI committees. He has won numerous awards. If I go on with them, it'll probably take me another 5 minutes to just list out his awards. So over to you, Nehal.
So first of all, thanks a lot, Alok, for the very kind introduction, kind and generous introduction. A very, very good evening, everyone. Wishing you all a very happy and prosperous Diwali. While most global markets slow down during the holidays, we do something different. We mark the occasion by Vora trading. And I think kudos to this community to think about a holiday festive season to be the beginning of a great financial year for trading. And I think that deserves a huge round of applause to this entire community. So really, Vora trading has been going on for many, many decades, or rather centuries. A tradition that opens up celebrations for prosperity. It's a reflection of how deeply finance is woven into our culture, not just as a profession, but as a belief in growth, even during festive times. Our theme this evening, Masters of Market Infrastructure, Charting India's Global Financial Connectivity, couldn't be more timely. India today is one of the most agile and forward-looking markets in the world. We moved to T+1 ahead of global schedule, as was pointed out by my colleague Vaisshali. We have operated since inception on the depository front on a segregated account structure, which is very, very different from the West, which yet continues to remain on an omnibus structure. And we have 20 crore demat accounts, a scale that very few markets globally have managed to build. In fact, a common joke which we keep on cracking in my team is that if demat accounts was a country, we would be the 19th or 17th most populated country of the world. With regulatory predictability, clarity, and resilient systems, and growing interoperability on a real-time basis among MIIs, the question now is, how do we take this ecosystem to the global scale? How do we translate domestic strength into more international importance? When I think about this, I'm reminded of something an Indian author once said. Think of two meals. A global fine dining experience is often a multi-course journey. Soup followed by salad, then main course, dessert, etc. Each dish is served in sequence. Each flavor its own space. Now compare this to the grand Indian thali. A single plate which has puri, sabzi, kheer, raita, papad, everything put at one go. Filled with diverse textures, spices and elements, all coexisting and enhancing each other. This very ethos is what Indian markets are made up of. Our market infrastructure is no different. Our ecosystem has mastered the art of scale and complexity, coexisting seamlessly with a dose of healthy competition. It's designed to reflect our culture, support our scale, and fuel our ambition. And that's exactly what positions us for global importance. Thus, the real question for global connectivity, the problem statement is crystal clear. To take the richness of our market infrastructure, much like the Indian thali, and adapt its strengths to drive on the global table. And just like every element in a thali has its own place and purpose, our market infrastructure is built to serve a diverse and growing investor base, each with unique needs, languages, and levels of financial literacy. Some interesting stats, these are pertinent to CDSL, is that 72% of investors have opened demat accounts in the last 7 years are aged between 18 and 35. So that's the age group which is growing the fastest. 80%, I repeat, 80% of demat accounts are from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Women investors, a favorite topic of mine, has grown by 39% since 2019. In fact, 66% of new women investors belong to the age group of 26 to 50. And my favorite stat is, this is in cue with what Vaisshali said, that there are more women on the stage today. So I'd like to add that spirit to this next stat, which I'm just going to say, that the youngest female demat holder is, guess what, 57 days. And interestingly, the youngest male demat holder is 60 days. So today the new generation is seeing a lot of wealth getting transformed to the newly born children. Interestingly, the youngest female demat holder about 6 months ago was 65 days old. So it has fallen to 57 days, showing that there is a larger importance of transforming wealth from one generation to the next generation. And that's where I think, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important part of trust getting created in our ecosystem to increase this. Investor participation in India is not a monolith. It's a mosaic. From first-time investors in tier 3 towns to seasoned institutions and long-generation investors in metros. Our approach to investor education reflects this diversity. Whether it's through multilingual resources, regional outreach, digital-first awareness campaigns, we are committed to ensuring that every investor, regardless of geography, background, feels seen, feels heard, and feels empowered. In fact, we are in the middle of the World Investor Week, a global investor awareness campaign conducted by various securities markets of the world, with a very active participation from Indian markets as well. At the heart of this inclusivity is our segregated account structure, which I just spoke about, a model that ensures transparency, safety, and investor protection at scale. It's a framework that has not only served us well domestically, but is increasingly being studied by global peers for its robustness, execution, and more importantly, investor protection for a 20 crore plus demat accounts. And there are the innovations that are uniquely Indian, born out of our need to serve scale with simplicity. Take EDIS, which is the Electronic Delivery Instruction System, which enables secure real-time authorization of trades without the need of physical signatures. This B2B, B2C authorization was designed for an Indian model and it served our investors well. We've seen a 36% CAGR growth in the EDIS usage in our securities markets. A fantastic growth which we have seen. The other big reform is the ECAS, or the Electronic Consolidated Account Statement, which consolidates holdings across depositories into a single, easy-to-read statement. We have recently made these enhancements in the ECAS, which can be viewed on the investor apps of both the depositories, and at CDSL it's called My Easy. In the last financial year alone, CDSL has issued more than 26 crore cash statements. And the most recent update of them all is the direct payout, which ensures that investors receive their funds directly, quickly, and without any other problem. So our Indian thali of services is crafted to serve many eyes: issuers, investors, intermediaries, but the most important eye, India. This approach reflects what we stand for: building trust through transparency, leading with innovation, and drawing strength from the diversity of our land. The path ahead is clear: to shape this distinctly Indian model into a blueprint for global financial connectivity. So the question isn't whether India is ready for global connectivity, it is whether the world is ready for the Indian thali. Because in market infrastructure, we don't serve in courses, we serve it all together in scale, speed, safety, and soul on one plate. Maybe it's time for the global table to make room for it. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Nehal. Talking about thali is certainly making me hungry. Also, an interesting fact about eCash is it's also available on DigiLocker. So say a few of my clients. Yeah. Up next, we have Mr. Sundararaman Ramamurthy MD and CEO of BSE Ltd. Sir joined BSE in January 2023 as Managing Director and CEO. He has since been instrumental in leading strategy, product advancement, regulatory relationship, and business development activities at the exchange. Prior to joining BSE, he was MD and COO in the Indian arm of Bank of America. He has extensive experience and stint handling all facets of running exchange business in India with 20 years at the National Stock Exchange of India, where he was responsible for its significant transformation, including hands-on involvement with derivatives, index, and data business. He began his career with leading banks, IDBI, SBI, and IOB. Due to his role in the turnaround of BSE, he has been conferred with the Outstanding CEO of the Year in Capital Markets in 2023 award, Asia Business Leader of the Year 2023. Please give him a big round of applause. With these few words, sir, I hand over the podium to you.
सभा में उपस्थित भारतीय पूंजी बाजार के दिग्गजों, मंच में उपस्थित भारतीय MIIs की सम्मानित और माननीय अध्यक्षों, सबको सर्वप्रथम सादर प्रणाम और नमस्कार। दुनिया में कई क्षेत्रों में कई सारे एसोसिएशंस, फोरम्स होते हैं। उनमें से BBF अपने लिए एक खास स्थान बना रखा है। उसका एक प्रतीक और नमूना आज का ये कार्यक्रम है। सोच अलग, काम अलग। BBF के बहुत सारे सदस्यों ISF के द्वारा भारत की पूंजी बाजार को और उसका रेगुलेशंस को और मजबूत कराने में अपना योगदान करते आ रहे हैं। इसके लिए उन सबको फिर से और एक बार सादर प्रणाम। कालिदास अपना एक काव्य में कहता है, नीचैर्गच्छत्युपरि च दशा चक्र नेमि क्रमेण। जो सबसे नीचे है वो अपने ही समय से ऊपर आ जाता है, जैसा चक्र की नेमी, स्पोक्स ऑफ ए व्हील, नीचे से ऊपर आते रहता है और फिर से नीचे जाता है। ऐसा एक ज़माना था जब ब्रोकर समझते थे हम मालिक हैं, फिर से ऐसे एक ज़माना आ गया तो एक्सचेंजर्स समझने लगे कि हम मालिक हैं। अभी हम तो ये समझते हैं कि आप लोग अन्नदाता हैं, अगर आप ना रहेंगे हमें सेवा करने के लिए कोई रहेगा ही नहीं। अगर हम सेवा नहीं करें तो भारत का पूंजी बाजार चलेगा नहीं। तो इसीलिए हम ये मानते हैं आप सब लोग अन्नदाता हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री की नेतृत्व में भारत विकसित भारत बनने जा रहा है। इसमें पूंजी बाजार और आप लोगों का सहयोग और योगदान और भी इस समय पर महत्वपूर्ण हो गया है। इसीलिए हमें ध्यान देना है आगे इसको कैसा बढ़ा के ले जाएं। ग्लोबल फिनेंशियल कनेक्टिविटी जो लिखा गया है उसकी तरफ से कैसे हम बढ़ें। शायद बेहतर ये होगा कि हम अंग्रेजी में बात करें ताकि किसी को ना नुकसान हो हमारी बात सुनने में, इसीलिए हम अंग्रेजी में बदल जाते हैं। India has come a long way. We repeatedly talk about the banyan tree, the starting and all that stuff. As I told, we might have had lot of derivatives exchanges. Nichair gachat uparicha dasha chakranemi kramena. In 1956, we enacted an act which preamble stated to prohibit trading in options. Hope it doesn't come back to the same cycle. So India, when it started, my honorable pranams to SEBI chair. I just started the speech, sir. I was telling that India has come a long way. From under the banyan tree, which we repeatedly talk, where the trading was meant for making money for private pockets. Today, that's not what we talk about as capital markets. The seeds of the growth which we are talking today were planted in 1990s when the country witnessed significant level of regulatory reforms, capital market reforms, financial market reforms and telecom reforms. Post the birth of regulatory reforms in SEBI, the color of market from a private pocket finance to become a public utility has come in place. Jointly, we all put together have achieved a lot. Today we talk of significantly large number of demat accounts, AUM, number of investors, liquidity's color has changed. Typically, we talk about all this as democratization of access to markets and access to information. And the role of exchanges and all of you in capital formation for the country, which is very important for the economic development and make true the dream of Viksit Bharat, has become really very good and great. When I started my career long back with NSE, in the initial days of NSE, people used to tell us, you should globally benchmark your practices. Today, thanks to the setup in India and thanks to the progressive way in which our regulators have taken it, maybe time has come in many areas for global markets to benchmark themselves with us. So have we reached the top? Have we reached the epitome? Is there any further growth? What is the direction for a financial connect? 2 days before, I had the honor and privilege of listening to our Honorable Prime Minister. We are talking about democratization of access to market and information. He said, democratization of access to technology, and why it is very important. Probably that is an important state where we are standing, where democratization of technological access is equally important for us to globally connect and take things forward. The Prime Minister gave a new explanation for the term AI. He said it is not artificial intelligence, it is all inclusive. So our technology should be all inclusive and should democratize for the entire world with a global connect. You as brokers have a very, very important role to play, that whatever upgradations you are bringing, they are all inclusive. That is one important element for us as next step. Secondly, the country has multiple banks. The country has multiple depositories. The country has multiple exchanges. We all should learn how to coexist and grow. Not necessarily competition means toxicity. This is second important point for us to keep in mind. Third is, some of the esteemed speakers talked about product. We are good in those products that we have, but we do not have a lot of products. Today, if we want to draw an interest rate curve across various maturities, we do not have a risk-free curve or a risk curve. If we do not have, we cannot boast ourselves as having global financial connectivity, because these are some of the important products that are required everywhere. We are consumers of multiple commodities. Madam was referring to how cotton prices once used, or somebody referred to how cotton prices once used to get determined in India. Today we are consumer of many of the commodities, but we don't decide the prices. Somebody else decides the price. If you are the consumer, you are the king, you should be deciding. How do we get there? We have a wonderful financial center in Gift City. How do we convert it as a currency hub? These are some of the areas which we should think about in terms of products. Today, we are talking of ease of doing business as a very important topic where all of us are spending time. Loko binna ruchihi. Different people have different expectations and different likes. As Nehal said, we are used to an Indian thali with multiple things on the plate so that there is something in it for everybody. He was talking about different things in a place, but I look at it as there is something in it for everybody in a thali. That is all inclusive. How do we create products which are all inclusive, which are not only for a few and not detrimental for the others? This is another area where we should put our efforts. We talked about when the speakers were talking about the DMATs, they said how so many youngsters have opened DMAT account. For this country, which is so big, what we have done is just scratched the surface. With the increasing per capita, more and more people coming in, what is that we are going to all of us jointly offer as products to the upcoming youngsters so that they can also financialize their savings and contribute for the growth of this economy. These are some things which we should bear in mind. Technology will continue to be ever changing. Puranamityeva na sadhu manyam. All gold is not necessarily gold. Same way, all new things may glitter, need not necessarily come without any problem. Every cloud has a silver lining. When you look at the silver lining, there is also a black cloud behind. How do you balance it? How do you ensure that whatever new things that you are doing or you want to do, lok hit mein hai, na kisi ka personal pocket ke benefit mein hai? I think these are some of the things that we need to think about. I don't think as an individual I have answers for every one of these questions. These are some of my thoughts which I feel could give us better global connectivity and even accelerate the path and pace at which we are going towards our Viksit Bharat. From the bottommost part of my heart, I would like to thank BBF for giving me this opportunity and giving me this honor of sharing my views in front of this august audience and SEBI chair. I would like to take this opportunity to once again invite you all and remind you all to our Diwali dinner event on October 17th at Sahara Star. इससे भी बड़ी मात्रा में आप वहाँ शामिल होंगे और हमें सम्मानित करेंगे। हे उम्मीद के साथ आपको फिर से धन्यवाद देकर विराम लेता हूँ। थैंक यू, नमस्कार।
सर, हम आपके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं कि आपने हमें संबोधित करके कृतज्ञ किया है। आपके मार्गदर्शन से सारे ब्रोकरगण बहुत खुश हैं और यही आशा करते हैं कि आप इसी शैली से आगे बढ़ते रहें, बीएसई को आगे बढ़ाते रहें। और सबने अपनी डायरियों में नोट कर लिया है दिवाली डिनर का इनवाइट। थैंक यू सो मच। May I now ask Anupji to come on the dais along with members of the SC. We will now be presenting a token of love, honor and appreciation to each of the speakers. Next. Nehal. Please keep the round of applause going on.
May I request the EC to please join me on stage for a group photo with the MD CEOs of all the MIS. Please come up on stage for a group photo.